In order to have that fluent, easy handwriting for our kids, there are two things that they must absolutely have embedded into their handwriting. And here it is. That is accuracy, which is going to tackle things like letter size, spacing, making sure the handwriting looks, well, accurate. Second thing is speed. We have to get them to get that just right speed if we want them to have automatic fluent handwriting. The only way our kids can achieve this legible handwriting that we are all in search of is by including the two pieces, accuracy and speed. Speed is really the secret sauce right here. And ironically, if you found me and you found this video, you may have been searching, and ironically, this speed piece, which is the most important part of this, is missing from so many handwriting resources, instructions, curriculums, even really popular ones like Handwriting Without Tears, which is a great program, very well respected. They don't really have a specific, explicit way to dive into that speed component. It's no surprise that 1 out of 5 kids in today's classroom struggle with handwriting. I'm going to jump right into 3 secrets that you need if you want your kiddos to have legible, easy handwriting. By the time you are done with this video, there's going to be no doubt in your mind what your next step is going to be, what you need to do, how to do it, what to say so that your kids can get that legible handwriting. 2 little housekeeping things before we begin. This video and these secrets are really for any awesome adult, right? It can be a grandparent, it can be a parent, it can be a teacher, a therapist, it can be a tutor. So all this information here can be applied. All you have to really do is want to be able to help your child with their handwriting, and I'm going to guide you through the step by step. Part number 2 is this information, these secrets, they can be applied for children of all ages, but really keep in mind we are addressing the everyday writer, the older child, the child that has already been writing for a while and is stuck, the child that has been writing for a while and just can't seem to get into the groove of it. That's our everyday writer. Our early writers are our little ones that are just learning how to write. They're just learning how to make their letters. Some of this will overlap and apply for those little ones too, but the majority of this content is specifically for our everyday elementary and above writers. When people call me, they seem to have almost like decision fatigue, right? Should I be worried about this handwriting thing? Is there anything that can be done for their handwriting at this point? Because remember, we're talking about everyday writers. They've been writing for a while. I don't even know where to begin. And that's really the common denominator. I don't know where to begin. We've tried before and we have not had the success that we want, and quite frankly, the success that they need to move on. So that we've tried before and it didn't work. I'm gonna speak to that right now. We're gonna squash that immediately. That is a limiting belief. You may have tried and you didn't succeed. However, it's not your fault. Nobody is talking about this speed component when it comes to getting that accurate handwriting. So it's not your fault. If the top curriculums, the experienced teachers aren't mentioning this, how in the world were you supposed to have tried the right thing? So put that limiting belief aside that you tried before. This is going to be different because now you're going to have the accuracy piece and the speed piece, which is the proven result to getting that legible handwriting. Remember, like I mentioned earlier, my goal for you watching this video is for you to be crystal clear on what steps you need to take to get to your end result of legible handwriting. You're going to realize that what you need, what you've been missing, is a step by step that goes in a certain order, right? We want a step by step that starts with that accuracy piece, gets us really confident, gets the kids really confident in the accuracy piece, And only then do we move on to that speed piece. So some of the things that parents come to me saying that they want for their kids is they want for their kids to have good enough handwriting that, this isn't a big ask, folks, that when they get their notes that they've been writing in class, they can actually use the notes to study for. I have had parents say what they actually want is for their child to be able to use their notes when it comes to open book tests. There's some kids that talk about never being able to be on that board that has all the perfect work, A+ work, excellent students. Well, if you've got somebody with really chicken scratch handwriting, you're not really going to put them on the A+ board. So imagine them having writing good enough to be on that A+ board. More importantly, they want their child, and they know their child needs writing as a tool to continue their journey as a student and also to continue their journey in life. Handwriting, after all, is a life skill that you can take with you wherever life may lead you. So go ahead and comment below, what is it that you want to get out of having your child have better handwriting? How do you think their life is going to change? What do you think is going to be easier? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. The parents and kids that work with me either in person or online via my Legible Handwriting for Kids program, they know exactly what to do because they have a step-by-step proven program that leads them along the way. So before we get further into those secrets, first thing here is I want you guys to come close and raise your hand and say, I solemnly promise that once we get through these don'ts, I will no longer do them again thinking I'm going to get handwriting to be better. Hands up, promise? Okay, here we go. First thing I want you to do is I want us to stop practicing. Yes, just stop practicing. Take your workbooks, throw them out the window, forget about the practice sheets. They do not work. Actually, if you're watching this video, you know they don't work, right? And here is why. That old saying, practice makes perfect, well, not true. If I'm practicing something that I'm doing wrong, incorrectly, and I don't have the skills to self-correct, I will continue to further reinforce doing it the wrong way. When it comes to handwriting, this holds true 100%. The second thing is doing more of the same. A lot of times our go-to is having the kids redo their work. And a lot of times when we have them redo their work, we get a beautiful, so improved piece of handwriting, right? And then of course, what's our logical thing to say? Wow, you see, I told you you could do it. Well, chances are all the kiddo did was just go really slow because they were probably so mad that they had to do it again. Either mad or embarrassed, humiliated, shamed. All these things really aren't what we want to get our kids to move forward. The problem with this method is once that you didn't know any better, right? So it's okay. You did not have the step-by-step. You didn't really know what else to say. The problem with this method is telling them you can do better or write neater doesn't provide that specific, explicit instructions so that you actually know, so that this child actually knows what lever to pull. What do I do differently? It's kind of similar to making dinner for your family and they all step away and say, this is terrible. Or yeah, try again tomorrow. We're ordering takeout. You don't know what they didn't like. Did they not like the chicken? Did they not like the vegetables? Was it too salty? Was it too sweet? Tomorrow, you might make the same terrible dinner again. Same goes to our kids when we're trying to help them. Research shows that specific and explicit feedback when helping them correct something really goes a long way. And in addition, not only does it tell them what to do, it helps them build that skill of self-correcting. Research has shown when it comes to handwriting that the kids that develop the skill of self-assessing are the ones that make the best progress. And the only way for us to know what feedback to get them is if we ourselves, we the awesome adults, have some more information so that we can be better guides for our kids, which is where the step-by-step really comes into play. Third thing I want you guys to promise you're going to stop doing is stop telling them to try harder. right? We have to come from the perspective that Dr. Green shared with us. A child that can will. Children, we have to assume they're not being lazy. We can assume they're stuck, struggling, challenged, confused, all those things, but we got to take that out of our vocabulary, thinking that they're being lazy. So the whole concept of you can try harder, this is a little deep. So it actually is a form of punishment, right? Very similar to shame. Because what happens is one of the two things happen. We have a kiddo who thinks, okay, I'm going to keep trying harder and harder and I'm going to do it. But remember, at this point, they don't know the right lever to pull. They don't know to write their letter size. They don't know spacing. They don't know if they're going too fast. They can kind of guesstimate, but really the only thing they can do is go really slow. And we know that that doesn't work because we need speed. Okay. So what ends up happening to this kiddo is they get that feeling of I'm never enough, right? Because I'm trying, I redid it, I tried this, I tried that, and I still can't get it. I'm never enough. And we really want to move away from anything that having to do with punishment, because we know that that's not how our kids can move forward and learn. They learn when we can guide them and give them, hey, let's try A, B, or C. In this case, let's try spacing, let's try letter size, let's try that just right speed so that this becomes easier for you. Another thing that can happen when we are in that shame cycle is the kids are like, you know what? I tried harder. I redid this thing last week. I was the last one to finish the class. You know what? I'm done. Peace out. I'm not writing anything. And then we have a full-fledged strike. So let's move away from that try harder because our kids are already trying and they just aren't getting it. All right, time for our 3 secrets. Are you ready? They're a little controversial, okay? Wait till we get to the end before you get upset at me, okay? First one we're gonna do is stop working on fine motor skills thinking you're working on handwriting, because you're not. Second thing is stop doing more practice thinking that doing more of the same is going to make handwriting better, because it's not. Last one, and probably my favorite, and also probably the most controversial because it's kind of obvious. This is what we should be working on, right? Stop telling these older writers that are everyday writers to go back to something they were doing in preschool or kindergarten, which is letter formation. None of these 3 approaches work, and I'm gonna dive deep into what you should be doing instead. Secret about stop using fine motor skills to improve your handwriting. Listen, I am an occupational therapist by trade. Fine motor skills, visual motor skills are the foundation of a lot of the things our kids do in school. It's really the foundation for them to move through life easily with grace, right? But thinking and tricking yourselves and tricking our family saying we're going to improve their fine motor skills so that their handwriting can get better is simply not true. Think about it. It can take months, sometimes with years, for fine motor skills to really match the developmental age. We can't take a everyday writer that's maybe in 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade and say, okay, well, we can't help you with this life skill, but we're going to go back and work on your in-hand manipulation skills first. Not going to work. What you need instead of working on these motor skills, which they do need for life, is to really almost get intimate with what the steps are to get that legible, easy handwriting. Second secret is stop practicing with workbooks and practice sheets. Kind of busted the secret way back in the beginning when I told you to stop doing these things. But here's what happens with workbooks. Workbooks do not give specific feedback. The other problem with workbooks is they almost break our trust. Remember, a lot of the underlying that I create here is we need to keep that parent-child, that awesome adult mentor-child relationship intact. Okay, and a lot of times when we approach things the wrong way, again, not our fault because you may not have had the right information, we really break that relationship. So that obviously is more important than anything else. So I always speak from that frame of reference. If we give a child a workbook and say, here, practice this workbook and your handwriting will get better, or do these practice worksheets and your handwriting will get better, and their handwriting in the workbook may be magical and beautiful, but the problem comes in when they're they still can't copy their spelling words so that they can use them to study. They still can't get exhausted, keep that accuracy and speed going, writing endurance, when they have to write a big paragraph. They still can't use their notes to study. So all of a sudden it's like you and your workbook don't know what in the heck you're talking about. And then you probably get like, peace out, I'm not listening to you anymore, which is not what we want. The other problem with workbooks is a lot of times kids will rush through the workbooks. Remember, if they don't have that just right speed, they're writing too fast. So they zip through the workbook and the workbook is done. But guess what? This relates back to stop practicing the wrong thing, right? They practiced the wrong thing. They reinforced the wrong letter size. They reinforced going too fast. They reinforced not leaving spaces. And spacing we can see show up between letters. Let's say they're practicing the letter B. They won't leave space between each B. And spacing shows up when we're writing sentences. So they end up, again, reinforcing the wrong thing. Instead, what I want you to do is use specific, explicit, very tangible instructions when you're giving feedback to the kids to improve their handwriting. Another thing research shows us is the classrooms and the kids that do best with making changes in their handwriting is when these strategies are embedded throughout everyday life. How great is that, right? You can talk about letter size when you're talking about science vocabulary. You can talk about spacing when they're, copying a paragraph. So these things, the more intimate and the more you know them, this goes back to our other principle that we talked about, you gotta know what's going on so you can just give back the feedback. And the families that have joined me in my Legible Handwriting for Kids, they have it. Okay, here we are. Drum roll, please. Letter formation. I'm going to start with this. These secrets apply to our older child. If your child is in pre-K, kindergarten, that early writing stage, they should be doing letter formation every which way. Big letter formation, little letter formation, as many times as they can, over and over and over again, because letter formation belongs with the early writers. The reason I don't address letter formation with my older kids is because, number one, they would totally hate me. But number two, once we address letter size and spacing, letter formation magically, unicorns, glitter, fairy dust, magically clears up. So much to the point that I don't even include it in my Legible Handwriting for Kids program. I don't even include it when I work with kids in my office. I do have it as a resource section. So sometimes once we've cleared up the spacing and the letter size and we've been able to maintain it and keep it when we get that just right speed, sometimes we will need to go back and address an A that looks like a U, a G that looks like a Y, but most of the time we don't. I want you to think about this. Letter formation, we've got 26 letters in the alphabet. I would lose the kids and the parents if I started with letter formation. Data shows us that they need at least 20 touch points to really kind of embed and learn these. So if I started with letter formation, and here's why I don't want you to start with letter formation, it could take, 15 sessions, 15 touch points before we actually got to what we know works, which is accuracy and speed. So that is why letter formation, I don't even touch it. And this is a common thing. I have teachers that tell me, oh, let's work on their letter formation. I have parents, wait, aren't we going to work on letter formation? I'm like, no, we might need to at the end, but we really do not need to do that with these older everyday writers. Everyone loves tips and tricks. And just lately, everyone loves hacks, handwriting hacks, executive functioning hacks. The kids I work with love the word hacks. But I'm going to tell you, guess what? That's my last bonus secret. We need to stop pulling tips and tricks. We need to stop with a quick fix here, a quick fix there, a hack here, because what that does is, if it works and if it improves anything with our kids' handwriting, it will give us a quick, down and dirty, cheap win. But without the step-by-step proven strategy, it's really hard to maintain any progress we make with handwriting, and especially with our older writers that have already had so many struggles. The quick tip, the quick hack, it doesn't work for them. And again, it ends up putting them back in that space of like, oh, okay, well, thanks, but that didn't really work when I had to copy my spelling words. So you don't know what you're talking about, and I'm not listening to you. So by now, you are probably 100% ready for a roadmap, a step-by-step that goes ahead and helps you guide your child, student, to that path to legible handwriting. Well, that's exactly what my Legible for Handwriting Kids program does. The link is attached below. So I want you to go ahead and check it out. And if you're ready to get a step-by-step from me, I'm in the videos. People ask me that all the time. Who did the videos? It's me. You will have workbooks. You will have PDFs. You will have reminders. You will have everything you need, as if I was sitting on your kitchen table, on your countertop, helping your child, except you can do it at the convenience of your own home in your pajamas. So once you're ready with these secrets, now we know what we need to do. My Legible Handwriting for Kids course goes ahead and tells you exactly how to do it. So you can go ahead and use all these tips that we've learned because they are great, and you may even get some real progress from them. But if you want more of a step-by-step, I'm going ahead and offering my Legible Handwriting for Kids program that's connected to the link below.